genuinely piss off, you low-life wanker. You're making shit content out of someone else's business. You're basically a shit spreader. I do not believe that Trollzous raped her, but he wanted to have sex and she didn't, and then gave in and went along with it. Ugly ass. Thanks, I specialise in being ugly ass. Now you could say I've had quite the experience with the Trollzous fanbase. I made a video a while back allegedly, talking allegedly about alleged rape allegations allegedly around Jake ZOUS. Allegedly. And it went down pretty well. I got quite a lot of support on this video, surprisingly actually. I got mainly positive comments, people actually willing to listen to what I had to say, listen to the story which I was telling, and providing the evidence and just in general taking their own opinion. But when you take on a larger YouTuber, somebody bigger than yourself, you're obviously going to get some backlash. And I got the backlash from the ZOUS fanbase, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Trollzous fanbase. Now, you can take a lot from a comment section. You can really get to grips with what a fanbase is actually like on the regular basis by just reading a certain comment section about a video made on a YouTuber. A prime example of this is this comment here. I don't really care, honestly. For me, it's content over personality. Content over pretty nasty allegations. Now, we have to remember there's a distinct difference between YouTube and real life. With YouTube, it's mostly not real, such as Trollzous. His videos are mainly based on his trolling videos, of where he trolls people in video games such as Call of Duty. That's basically what his channel is. We need to remember that none of this is actually real and probably not affecting anybody. But with certain allegations against the YouTuber you're watching, Trollzous, the allegations of rape, you have to remember that sometimes with allegations, you might have to listen because rape's a pretty big thing. It's a really big thing, in fact. And to prioritise content over an allegation such as rape, to me, it kind of looks pretty bad on you. Maybe when somebody's accused of rape, you should actually listen and think, hold up, maybe there is some sort of story and maybe there is some evidence. You don't have to agree with them, but maybe just actually listen to what somebody's saying before you attack them. But if you're in that 13-year-old mindset, I guess you're not really in the realms of understanding what's good and what's bad. And Trollzous clearly has an extremely young audience. Based on his last vlog, in fact, his Insomnia 61 vlog, you can see majority of his fans are very young.
Don't forget to subscribe to his channel again. Another shout out.
Majority of them looking around 13 or 14 years old. Now, there necessarily isn't anything wrong in having a young audience. People like H3HU Productions, Pyrocynical most likely have a younger audience. It's not because adults don't like their content necessarily, but it's more like Trollzous' sort of content is where he's trolling people in video games. Most adults don't really care about this sort of thing. And Pyrocynical maybe will focus on YouTube drama. Adults again, most of them will not care. Whereas teenagers, adolescents will love this sort of thing, meaning they have a majority younger audience. Now, in my previous fanbase video, I called Jake Paul's fanbase mainly cancer. And I'm not wrong there, the Jake Paul fanbase is terrible.
Hey guys, this is a channel video. The new channel, a new channel.
And the Trollzous fanbase isn't as bad. There were actually some understanding fans in the comment section. And it's understandable a lot of his fans were upset at the time. I've known this experience myself. Previously, a few months ago, a YouTuber known as Zaptai was exposed for being a bit of a nonce and doing some other shady stuff. I was quite upset by this because Zaptai at the time was one of my favourite, if not my favourite curator on YouTube. And when you see this, that somebody you've been watching for months is actually not the person they're saying to be, it's quite saddening. But this doesn't avoid the fact that the majority of Trollzous' fanbase is absolutely terrible. And you can just look at the comment section on Trollzous Behind the Persona for a quick, vague explanation on why they're so bad. But there is actually a method to the madness on why they're so bad. Maybe not method to the madness, but an explanation on why they all are so awful. Now, we all know people of a younger age, predominantly adolescents, are much more easy to manipulate and they're extremely impressionable compared to somebody that's older. For example, reverse psychology on a young child. Reverse psychology is a technique involving the advocacy of or a belief or behaviour that is opposite to the one desired, which the expectation that this approach will encourage the subject to do what is actually desired. And a prime example of it is this video here.
Caminando.
Aquí,
No, caminando.
aquí,
Caminando.
aquí,
No.
aquí.
No.
Sí,
No.
sí,
Sí.
no.
No. Vamos.
Now, there is actually a reason to why this happens. Because in an area of the brain known as the prime visual cortex, which is the part of the brain which is responsible for interpreting what we see into certain situations and what is happening based on previous experiences in our life. Now, in simple terms to explain this, the primary visual cortex is there to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. But being a child, it's very hard to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong, because most children haven't experienced wrong things in their life, because they're being brought up by their parents in a nice cushioned life. Not all children, but the majority of children. And going back to Trollzous, you can see from his vlogs at Insomnia61 that he clearly has a younger audience. And this audience probably haven't experienced much bad stuff in their life. Maybe some of them have, but I promise a large majority have not and have just had a normal life. And this may lead to some of them not actually understanding the implications of rape and how serious of a crime rape is. I'm not saying they all don't understand it, but a good majority of people below the age of 13 probably do not understand the concept or implications of a crime such as rape. They're young and they probably haven't learned too much deep stuff about this. They obviously probably know that rape is a bad thing. It's pretty common to know that rape is a no-no. But then it comes back to that impressionable mindset which they get from their primary visual cortex, which makes them not be able to distinguish that a person they've been watching for about 2 years maybe is actually a bad person. They're gonna see all the good stuff that they've been doing, but when they see one bad thing, they might just think, oh, it's just a one-off, or maybe they won't even think it's bad at all, because they've been listening to this person for so long and they're extremely impressionable, so they're going to just listen to whatever he has to say. Now, I don't actually have a problem with anyone defending Trollzous, just like I don't have a problem with anybody defending the accuser. But there is a distinct difference between giving somebody rational arguments and explanations to why they think I'm in the wrong or somebody else is in the wrong, and then just outright giving abuse and then just completely denying it with no logical explanation. This is an example of the Trollzous fanbase which can speak rationally. And on the other hand, this is an example of a Mong who's an impressionable person and clearly just isn't gonna listen to me. There's nothing wrong in having a young audience. The majority of time you cannot help it. But if you're young and you're an impressionable person and you're seeing this sort of stuff, you're seeing your gods on YouTube be offended or accused of things, go and do your own personal research and learn of the implications of the accusations being made, and then go do your own research and find evidence to back up if they're right or they're wrong. I don't actually particularly care about abuse on my end, because to me it's more of just a funny thing, but it does show how toxic the Trollzous fanbase really can be. I don't think the Trollzous fanbase is full of bad people. I think it's full of young, stupid, impressionable kids, and most of them probably aren't exactly fully educated on certain crimes. And maybe some of them are, but majority probably aren't. And of course there are the odd 16 or 17-year-old who will defend Trollzous and actually provide arguments, and the reason for that is because they're 16 and 17 and probably have experienced some form of good and bad in their lifetime, because they're about 4 years older and have gone through puberty and have gone through learnings of certain parts of life. I'm fine with people defending him. The video itself I made was just talking about certain allegations, and I'm fine if people don't want to agree with me or they want to defend Trollzous or maybe even defend me or defend the accuser. This video isn't about the allegations. This video is about a young and impressionable, annoying, really annoying audience. I'd probably go into more depth about that, but YouTube won't monetize this video. I won't get 20p. So go ahead, go wild in your imagination and probably think of what I was going to say. The Trollzous fanbase in summary is extremely young, they're extremely impressionable, and you can tell they're going to defend their god no matter what. If the guy was put in prison, they'd probably still find a way to defend him. Not all of them, but most of them. You can see from the comment sections, the comment section on my video, VWQ's video, and Vanilla Rice's video. It's just not very positive, and it just doesn't look good on the fan base in general. I know this has been my first video in a while, and I apologize for that. I've been a busy man, I've been doing stuff, I've been to Insomnia, and I've been moving. So yeah, I'm sorry for that, guys, but I appreciate you liking and commenting on this video if you enjoyed it. Cheers for watching, boys. Have a good day. Peace.